Welcome back. It's 8:38. You're watching Breakfast on GBNEWS. Today I'm joined by Martin Daubly, and we've got lots more coming your way, including the papers. Let's take a look at those front pages, how they're shaping up this morning.
And the Sun leads with the Lions of Arabia as Captain Harry Kane vows to lift the nation when England take on Iran at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Here's the Mirror. It's all about hope and glory as England take the knee and wear pride armbands.
The Daily Star asks, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Super Kane, as the England striker hopes to bring back the trophy to England.
And the Mail also covers the World Cup, as well as a shock claim the UK could seek closer ties with the EU, with the headline, "Don't Betray Us on Brexit."
And we have our own two superstars in the studio now, doing the papers, Chris Ascobusi and Dawn Lisa. Come on, take a compliment when it comes your way.
Thank you.
Chris is taking it.
Yeah, who wants to go?
Bring it on, baby.
I couldn't get anyone else, Chris, let's be honest. Oh, no.
So, Dawn, let's start
Yes, Martin.
with you.
Shall we?
A little bit of I'm one of the chaps, honestly, aren't I, type story.
Yeah,
Rishi Sunak has started his World Cup wall job. What a bloke.
There is only one story in town. It's the World Cup, and we've discussed the rights and the wrongs of where it's being played there already at length. So I thought I'd drill down into some of the more fun stuff.
Yeah.
And this is, as you say, this is Rishi Sunak, our Prime Minister, just in case you've forgotten, although check, it might have changed, has had himself filmed filling in his World Cup football chart. And obviously, I do one of these religiously.
Yeah.
Every World Cup, every European Championship. And for the first time, I haven't.
What? Why?
I'm not going, because I disagree with the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
We've
I'm
done
not
a
doing
sweepstake in the office.
Who did you get?
I got Croatia.
Bad luck.
Is that bad?
Yeah. I'm not friends.
That's not we're with a shout. I'd have probably got Iran, a country that I loathe for women's rights issues even more than Qatar. But yeah, Rishi is dutifully getting down with the working class football fan and filling in his wall chart. And obviously he's been filmed doing that, just in case you missed it. And the other story worth mentioning is the WAGs, that's the wives and girlfriends, flying out with their very, very many bags. Now, in theory, England could be coming home in just a few days' time.
Excuse me, wash your mouth out.
Sorry, but realistically, penalties, Germany, etc. But it could be. But there's one here. Which one even is Jack Grealish's girlfriend, Sasha Atwood? She's got 1, 2, 3, 4 huge suitcases.
It's just makeup.
Isabel.
Sorry.
But I've been told they can't wear mini dresses. So maybe she's got like gigantic tunics in there or something.
Do you reckon?
No, I don't.
No. And she's flying out in tracksuit bottoms, which you could roll up and put in a rucksack in any case, couldn't you? So. But yeah, they are flying on this multi-million, probably billion-pound yacht that's moored, where they have staterooms and champagne, flowing, even though no one else is allowed to drink out there, obviously.
Indeed.
Which is a bit awkward for the sponsors, Budweiser.
Yeah, they lost all the dosh, didn't they? The day before, that got sprung upon them.
Yeah, what do you make of Rishi Sunak getting down with the people?
Get on with the job, mate.
Yeah.
Get on with the job, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, shall we talk then? The Guardian's take on this. They're talking about, this is at page 16 inside The Guardian, Qataris welcome the world with pride and rage.
Yeah, exactly. So the pride is, there's Qatar is 350,000 people, and they've got the whole world's media there. And it's a pride for them to be able to show people into their front room. And like any guest, they would hope that the people would come and respect their rules, respect their way of life. But what they found out is that the world's descended upon them and lambasted them for living a more conservative way of life than them. And they would actually say, we're a small country, we are doing our best, and we were so excited about getting the World Cup, and all we've got is vilification. It says that, for example, women's rights are developing. Yes, we know that we don't live like you do, but if you look into our workforce, there are more and more women now in management positions in the workforce, and more women who are graduating from university. Not saying that they're perfect, but they're saying we are moving, we are progressing. They're saying, for example, that we've got our children who are going to be going to these sports events. And what we are worried about is that we lose our culture. We know that you guys like to drink. We know that you guys are more liberal in your sexual proclivities. What we just don't want is for our children to have that rammed in their faces, because after the games, you go, we've still got society. So when I read this, I'm thinking the other side is a young country, and they're saying, one of the things, for example, we are a small independent state. We've got that view coming, and we don't want to be subsumed into this wider Saudi Arabia. So, I just understand what they're saying is that the Western world will come down there, and it's like a guest into your house. Someone comes into your house and goes, I don't like your wallpaper. What should you do? Hey, change that. And they're saying, have a little bit more decorum. It's basically, have a little bit more decorum. We're not westernised. We are a small growing population, and things are changing. Look, I'm not putting it all right, but I'm just saying there is another side of the story.
Yeah, there is, but we mustn't forget. I mean, did you see the crowds yesterday? Well, they were half empty, the stadium, but there were practically no women in those stands.
Spotted that. Yeah,
there were
absolutely.
no women there because they're not allowed out without a male escort, and you can still be flogged if you're committed of adultery. So they've got a long way to go.
Another one here says we have a gay community. We have a gay community. It's just that
They
there's
just keep them very quiet.
Yeah, or imprisoned.
Or in prison.
Well, no, come on. I mean, they've got a gay community, and people will practice their way of life. It's just that they won't do it in public. People will drink, they just won't do it in public.
There's a difference, isn't there, between being tolerant of someone else's culture and accepting their values are different from your own. But there's also, we have every right to say, hang on a minute, it's not okay to torture, it is not okay to kill people because they've fallen in love with someone.
Didn't one of them actually describe being gay as an aberration of the brain or something or other, a brain malfunction? That's very thinking.
And of course that's banging out of order, and no one's going to try and justify that. But just like you'd say, I've heard it here before, when people come into the United Kingdom and they criticise our way of life, you say, well, go back to your own country.
I'm all for tolerance. I agree with what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but obviously there is a line over which that gets crossed.
I'm feeling a bit peckish here. I see Greg's
Oh God, I thought sandwich. What are you talking about?
Just gave me a taste for it.
All right, okay.
So let's be honest with the Gregs. Tell us about this.
Okay, first of all, I've got a confession to make.
Yeah.
I've never eaten a Greggs in my entire life.
Get out.
No, I'm sorry.
If I have to think about that.
What?
I really
Surely you have.
My daughter has, no, not me. She
There we go.
I'm the only
Just
Greg.
you there.
Listen, I've been
Just
to
you.
Greggs many times with my husband, but it's just not my thing.
No.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Greasy.
Any case, this is the pasty wars flared up again in Cornwall after Greg said it would open a new bakery on Truro High Street within weeks. Now, they've already tried this, but they were closed down because, obviously, lack of custom. The Cornish people going, no, we make pasties better than you're ever going to do it, so go away. But they're opening a new one now, and this new one is Truro's High Street, and it's just a stone's throw away from Warren's Bakery, which is the oldest pastry shop in the world, evidently.
Yeah.
Possibly. You've probably been there.
I have that. They're very, very territorial
been there.
about Cornish pasta. It's a bit like Bordeaux or Champagne or Roquefort. Has to be Cornish. I do kind of get this, actually.
Yeah.
I do get it. I mean, I love Greggs, as you can tell. But I also believe in supporting the local businesses.
Yeah. Didn't Pizza Hut have a disaster in Rome recently? Had to close. So that happens everywhere. Where you've got your specialism, you can have these people trying to imitate, but you're never going to beat the original.
In any case, it's pasty wars in Cornwall, so it's all kicking off in Cornwall as well as in Qatar.
Good.
Qatar.
Yeah.
Qatar. How do you actually even pronounce that? I've heard it pronounced so many ways.
A bit of Qatar.
Yeah. Qatar.
Potato, whichever you go for. Chris, can we talk? I'm sorry, I wasn't sure. Do we have time for another story? I heard something in my ear then. Very quickly, can we talk about male teachers yet? My son's got a primary school teacher who's a chap at the moment, and I think it's so healthy for a young boy to have a male
100%, 100%. And it says that women are great, but men are not dispensable. That often for young boys growing up, they only see their mum's lover, or they see fighting in the streets, and they don't actually see the respect and responsibility that men can have. And so it's just saying here, it's really important to have men in the classroom. I'm very fortunate. I've paid for my private school for my lad, and he's got some very strong male role models. And just the way that they interact with him gives him respect as to who he can be as he grows through. I mean, his life.
Well, he had you, the most
Yeah.
amazing male so he'd be fine anywhere.
I'm really, really passionate about this. I'm ambassador for International Men's Day. That was on Saturday.
Yes.
And there's so much conversation around toxic masculinity, but we must remember the positive male role models have a huge benefit, not only for the boys involved and the girls involved,
Absolutely.
but for all of society.
Yeah,
Agreed.
absolutely. I think it's really great for the girls.
Oh, absolutely.
My son's school, yeah.
Isabel and I are very lucky to be surrounded by such positive role models.
Absolutely.